How's everybody doing? Hope you're all having a good night or day whenever you're watching this. I don't know. I'm filming it at night, so hope you're having a good one. Today's video, we got the divisional round picks. So there's 4 games happening. So without further ado, let us jump into the video. So you should be able to see it about now. As I said, there's 4 games. We got the Texans at the Patriots, the Bills at the Broncos for the NFC games, for the AFC games, and then for the NFC games, we got the Rams at the Bears, and the Niners at the Seahawks. I've gone back and forth on a few of these, not all of them, because there are some games where I think that it's going to be a competitive game, but I don't see some of these teams beating the other. So we're just going to start with the first one here, which is the Texans at the Patriots. So this one is a really interesting one to me. The Texans, all season long, really, their defense has been phenomenal. Without, no one can debate that fact. That is, just the truth. Their defense has been unreal. Statistically, I believe it's, top 6 or top 7 or something like that, all time in terms of, defensive stats across the board since defensive stats have been measured. So, I think it's really hard to argue that their defense has not been phenomenal this year. All that being said, or I should say, despite their defense being phenomenal, their offense has they've struggled. I think is just the cleanest and simplest way to put it. CJ Stroud did miss some games, and you had Mills coming in as a backup, and he actually looked I don't want to say better, but it looked a little bit easier for the offense to get going in, I think it was 4 games that he played for the Texans this season. I don't know, CJ Stroud struggled last week, he really did. He fumbled it 5 times, and as I said in my previous video, that, not all of those were 100% on him, but he still did not play very well. He played okay. If his defense did not play the way that they did, they had a pretty good chance of losing that game. So that is definitely something that concerns me. Now, I think that the Texans' defense is good enough to kind of shore up some of the issues or hedge against some of the issues with the offense against most teams. Even, I would say, most teams currently left in the playoff picture. However, the Patriots at home are not really a team I see the Texans matching up super well with. Number one, the Patriots defense last week against the Chargers looked incredible. Now, granted, the Chargers offense has been, or this season, they have been hot and cold. They've had a lot of injuries. They have clear weaknesses, especially on the O-line, which I think helped the Patriots defense really hold down the Chargers to basically, I think it was 3 points. And the Patriots offense has played well all season. I can't really think of, last game their offense wasn't phenomenal, but it was still good enough to win the game, score, I think, was it 18 points? May have been, I think it was 16 points actually. I think it was 16-3 if I remember correctly. On because I think that the Texans defense is good enough to carry them very far. I do have a lot of questions about the offense, and I do think, and kind of going back to the point I said before about the Texans defense being able to kind of cover up some of the issues with the offense, the Texans defense is actually capable of scoring touchdowns or like off of a pick, or they've done a couple scoop and scores in the past couple weeks. So if they can score defensively, I mean, that's going to be a really hard game for the Patriots to win. I do think that the Patriots they're definitely a more balanced team. Like, they have capable players kind of up and down their roster. I wouldn't say that they have like a bunch of superstars by any means. Like, they have some really talented players. Drake May, obviously I think this is his first ever season playing in the NFL. So like, I'm hesitant to call him like a superstar yet. I would say he's like a star. He's probably going to win the MVP, but I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling at this point. I've kind of forgotten the train of thought. But all in all, I do think that the fact that this is in Foxborough, the Patriots have looked dominant all season long. The Texans have looked dominant for the past like 10, 12 weeks. So I mean, basically they haven't lost since, week 7, I think, or maybe week 8. So, like, we'll see what happens. I just don't think that in Foxborough, against the Patriots team that has just looked solid all year, that we're going to see them lose. Now, this one, I am not touching with a 15-foot pole on any parlay, on any money line, any spread bet, like literally nothing. Because I could see this being a total dumpster fire for the Patriots. Now, that's more of just my cynicism playing out in full effect. But I have a really hard time seeing the Texans going into Foxborough against this team that New England has put together this season and coming away with a win. Maybe it'll happen, but I'm not taking them to win. So I'm gonna go Patriots for my first pick. Locking that in. Second AFC game, we got the Buffalo Bills at the Denver Broncos. This one, I think, is one of the ones where I didn't have a super tough time picking a team to advance. And I'll tell you kind of my reasoning for both teams. For the Bills, Josh Allen is, in my opinion, the best quarterback in the NFL. James Cook is maybe top 4 running back. Like, I mean, I don't really care where people put him. I think he's like a top running back in the league. They got some guys on defense that I quite like. I think they have a good coach. I think they have a good culture. But like, I don't like, who is Josh Allen gonna throw to? I saw some stat that there's like 3 active wide receivers or something like that on Buffalo's roster. I don't know if that's true. I saw it on Instagram like very quickly, so I could just be completely out of my mind right now. But I mean, I have a really hard time. Like, the Broncos defense, kind of similar to the Texans, has been lights out this season. And they're at home. I just don't see this being a game where Josh Allen, despite his talent, I don't see this. This is kind of where, when everyone was saying, oh, like, the playout, like, this is Josh Allen's best chance to win a Super Bowl, I was like, Is it? Like, I don't know. Like, yes, you have all of these other quarterbacks in the AFC that aren't in the playoffs when they typically have been, and they've been like some of the top teams. But like Josh Allen's team is also not as good this year. That's just the truth. And you're going up against a team on the road that is, I mean, the Broncos are, I feel like the Broncos are just going to dismantle Buffalo. Their defense specifically is going to dismantle Buffalo's offense. I don't know what the hell's going to happen with the Broncos offense. I've had questions on Bo Nix the entire year. I think they got some very capable wide receivers. What's the guy's name? Is it Cortland Sutton? And then there's another guy, his last name starts with it's like Dobson. Oh God, I think it's Dobson. I think they got some talented guys for sure. I just don't think that they can, like, a lot of their wins have been pretty narrow. So if their defense or something, I don't know, like, we'll see. But at home, I don't see Denver losing this one with the defense that they have going up against the offense that Buffalo's putting out on the field. That's my opinion. The Broncos were kind of, I've said this from like literally the first video that I've made this year in week 1, that I think the Broncos are probably going to be coming out of the AFC. I think that defense, when you have that good of a defense, like, anything is possible. I think you can go really far in this league. But at the end of the day, you have to score points, and I think that's the Broncos' biggest what if, is like, what if Bo Nix has a awful game? I don't know. But either way, I'm still gonna take Buffalo. Freudian slip. I'm still gonna take the Broncos. I kind of hope I'm wrong, just so that Josh Allen gets farther. You know what I mean? Because I am a fan of his, and I do want him to do well, but I just don't see it happening. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the AFC picks so far. I think the Broncos over the Bills I'm much more confident about that pick than I am about the Patriots over the Texans. But I really don't know. Like, this year's been so much fun, and these playoffs have been awesome. I still can't tell you who my Super Bowl pick is. Like, I really have no idea. The teams have been so so competitive. Like, every game has been competitive. Every matchup has been, like, exactly what I would want out of a game like this, you know? So I've been really happy with this season, and especially the playoffs. Alright, moving on to the NFC games. These two, in my opinion, were a little bit easier to pick. Now, I'm going to start with the Rams and the Bears, just because that's the order that it's in. To be honest, like, the 49ers and Seahawks, I have some thoughts about, but I need to think on it as I'm speaking, just to kind of, I don't know. I'm going to take a drink first, though. Oh, God knows I need one talking about the Bears. I'm just joking. I do feel like my recap video, like, obviously I covered the Bears beating the Packers. I have a lot more Bears fans than I thought watching these videos. So, I mean, listen, no disrespect. I'm happy everyone watches my videos. Like, the more the merrier. I'm not trying to, like, be an asshole out here, you know? Like, I can respect when a team wins and just plays better, and that's what the Bears did against the Packers. So, everyone's been respectful in the comments, you know? No one's been giving me too much hate for being a Packers fan. We're all, you know, Hakuna Matata and all that. But yeah, the Rams and the Bears. So, last week the Rams nearly got their season snatched from them by the Carolina Panther. offense and defense. Oh God, what was his name? The North Carolina Reaper, or the Carolina Reaper, whatever Bryce Young's nickname is. I think it's still such a cool nickname, personally. I'm just gonna, sorry, this ad is kind of annoying me. Yeah, I mean, they almost got sent home last week. So, now, and I do think that I kind of figured that Carolina would put up a lot more fight than people would expect them to, just because that's what they've been doing all season. They've been so incredibly inconsistent. I feel like I've said this week after week that, they could beat the best team in the league and then lose by 35 to like the Jets. You know what I mean? Like, you can't know until the game is actually going on. But I think that LA is just, they have so many guys that are just so talented. I mean, their offense alone wins them games. Like, they have like 3 guys where I'm like, yeah, you put one of those guys on any other team in the playoffs and I would consider them for a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like you're telling me, oh my God, could you imagine Matthew Stafford with the Texans defense? Are you joking? This is what I'm saying. Like, LA is so incredibly talented. They got so many guys. But somehow this season they've gotten in some of those games where they just don't look as good as you think that they should be. And now a lot of the games that they've lost have been very close. Like, they have come down to the wire. But I mean, I still think that they are probably one of the best teams left in the playoffs, for sure. The Bears, and this is where Bears fans, please be just patient with what I'm about to say. In my heart of hearts, I will fully admit, as I just did, that the Bears outplayed the Packers. But I think that loss, or Packers loss, the Bears winning, had more to do with the Packers choking than the Bears actually, beating the shit out of them, quite honestly. I don't think the Bears are a better team than LA. I don't, personally. And maybe that's just my Packers bias coming into play. But the fact that the Bears in many games this season have basically played like complete doo-doo up until like the fourth quarter, where they have to score like 20 or more than 3 touchdowns basically to either tie or overtake their opponent. Like, that concerns me, because LA is not that team. LA is putting 7 at least each quarter on you. So this is a team, and this is kind of what I meant. What was that? I guess my wild card picks video about the Bears kind of coming from having to play from behind a lot. I think LA is a team where they will, if they get put in that position, they will really struggle to come back. And, maybe they will, maybe they'll be able to. But, I mean, LA is a really dangerous team to try and go out and win a game like that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think the key in this game is Caleb Williams has got to be clicking with his receivers quickly, and they need to establish the run game immediately. They need to be able to not only so here's my thing. LA can score really fast because of just the offensive weapons that they have. They can march down the field for 75 yards in 6 plays and take up maybe a minute 47 seconds. You know what I mean? You have to be able to control the ball and consistently drive the ball and take up as much time as humanly possible to get the ball out of Matthew Stafford's hands, who will then throw it to either Puka, Devontae, or hand it off to Kyron Williams. Like, that's the name of the game. Like, from the way I see the Bears winning is literally ground and pound. And when the run game doesn't work, you throw it deep. Like, you got to control the pace of this game. Otherwise, they're going to just pile on points. Kind of all of that being said, I know that was like a 6-minute ramble about probably nothing. So apologies if that didn't make any sense at all. Despite this being at Soldier Field, despite the Bears coming off of a very incredible comeback win against the Packers last week, I don't see the Rams losing this game. I think the Rams are a better team. I think they have more experienced players. I think that they're more talented and they just have more weapons than the Bears. Quite frankly. And yeah, I'm going to take the Rams in this game. This is another one, though, kind of similar to the Texans and Patriots game where I probably won't touch this one. I don't think I'm going to bet at all this week except for one game, which is the next one. Last, somewhat at least, just for what I think is going to happen. I could be totally wrong. I hope I am wrong, but we got the Niners at the Seahawks. So the 49ers beat the Eagles in my opinion. I thought they were going to kind of get stomped on in Philly. Sorry, one second. Granted, it was a close game, but yeah, I mean, somehow, I feel like I'm saying this every week about the 49ers. It's like, somehow they ended up winning, despite George Kittle now being out for the rest of the season. I don't think they have a tight end on their roster. Well, maybe they have, a guy from, the practice squad. I don't know. But, you're kind of losing your second biggest offensive weapon, outside of Brock Purdy, you know what I mean? You have Christian McCaffrey, of course, but, George Kittle, who do you have now? I don't know. But, yeah, and their offense looked, when they played the Seahawks, what was that week? I think it was week 18. I mean, not that the Seahawks offense looked amazing. Their defense looked amazing. The 49ers couldn't move the ball, and that was with George Kittle. So, I don't, and this is going to be in Seattle, I don't see the 49ers putting up much of a fight. Well, they'll put up a fight. They'll play hard, and they'll compete. But I don't see this being a very competitive game. Now, do I think a lot of eyes are going to be on Sam Darnold? 100%. I think that Sam Darnold, for the Seahawks to win this game in a somewhat clean way, you got to get Sam Darnold to play very, very careful. Well, maybe not careful, right? Because you want him to still throw the ball with confidence, but I think that the key to the Seahawks offense being proficient and performing well is limiting turnovers, which Sam Darnold historically, college and NFL careers combined, has struggled with. That's just being from USC, the Jets, the Vikings maybe not so much, Panthers a little bit, but I mean he's a gunslinger. That's his archetype, if you want to call it that. So make sure that they limit turnovers as much as they can. They're gonna, the 49ers are gonna try and take away JSN. That's a given. So I think that their run game, you got Charbonnet, and then what's the other guy's name? Kenneth Walker, I think. Or Kenneth Walker the third. Sorry. So I think you got to get those guys involved. You got to develop the run game and get it going pretty early. just have something to rely on. Make them respect the run game so you can actually throw the ball to JSN, because he's your best offensive player. Sam Darnold's good, but JSN is your guy. I think everyone knows that at this point of the season. So, I do think that, unfortunately for San Francisco, this is probably where their season comes to an end. Again, with all these other games, I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't think I will be. Like, this is the one where I can say with maybe like 95% confidence that like Seattle should win this game. And if they don't, like, I mean, that's kind of embarrassing. Like, not that, I don't know. The 49ers are still a good team, but they just got so many injuries. Like, I can't believe it. I mean, the 49ers, even if they win or lose, should be incredibly pleased with how they performed this season, given all of the challenges that they had. All the injuries, all the ups and downs, all the uncertainty and adversity that they had to go through. And this is coming from from a guy who hates the 49ers, like, hates them. So, I mean, look, I don't know. I'm going Seattle. Yeah, I'm going Seattle. So, that's where I'm going to go. So just to refresh, for the AFC teams, or AFC games, I got the Patriots over the Texans, and the Broncos over the Bills. For the NFC, I got the Rams over the Bears, and I got Seattle over San Francisco. So, those are my picks. I'm curious to know what people are taking, what they're predicting for these games. I know I got quite a few Seahawks fans that watch my videos. I know I have quite a few Bears fans. I do also have a few Patriots fans, I've noticed. So let me know in the comments who you're taking. I think my picks are pretty solid. However, I did say that about the wild card, and I got 2 for 6. So, I'm hoping I do better this round. Hoping against all hope. But yeah. Like I said before, though, even if I'm wrong, like, as long as they're good games, I don't really care. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking about these games. Let me know what you think about my picks. I still have no idea, absolutely no idea who I'm taking to win the Super Bowl. I really don't know. I mean, I need to see how the Broncos look against, like in the playoffs. Because I think that they could potentially do it. I think obviously the Patriots are going to be there. The Rams are going to be there. Seattle, I think, has the potential to be there. However, I do have questions about Sam Darnold. Not like huge ones. I do think he's still a good quarterback. But I do have questions. And then what I said before, like, I don't see the Bills. I don't. I mean, and 49ers, kind of, both of them are in the same spot, like, at least, or like same like ranking, or like percentages to get to the Super Bowl. I really don't know, though. Like, it's so wide open this year. Yeah, I don't know. Alright. I think I'm going to end this here. We're about at 30, so I feel like that's a solid video. Thank you guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Hope you enjoyed this video. As I said before, let me know in the comments who you guys are taking in these games, because honestly, I got no idea. I'm just hooting and hollering on this, Thursday night. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I very much appreciate it. Hope everyone enjoys the weekend and some of these games, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.